Here we are coming down the most critical stretch of the NBA season. We have around 6 games remaining, and we have teams trying to get into the playoffs for a permanent playoff spot. We have teams trying to get into the play-in tournament, and we also have teams fighting for positions. And the Denver Nuggets, they are one of those teams fighting for position. They are fighting for the #1 seed in the Western Conference. As of right now, they have the #1 seed over the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves. These 3 teams right now are in the running for that #1 seed, and it's very critical for the Denver Nuggets to have at least one more win than the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Oklahoma City Thunder, given that those 2 teams have the head-to-head series over the Denver Nuggets. When we look at the Denver Nuggets, they've been playing some outstanding basketball since the All-Star break. Over their last 10 games, they won 7, and they're currently on a 2-game winning streak. And me personally, I have the utmost confidence in the Denver Nuggets retaining that #1 seed, and my reason for that, or I should say my biggest reason for that, is very simple. The Denver Nuggets possess the best player on the planet as of right now, and we all know who that guy is. That's Nikola Jokic, aka the Joker. And it appears to me that Nikola Jokic is more locked in than ever. Recently, he was asked about some minor injuries that he's dealing with right now. From what I'm read, Jokic has a little bit of wrist pain and a little bit of hip pain as well. And he was asked if he wanted to sit out some games with the seasons coming to an end to get some stamina for the playoffs. And Jokic basically said if he's healthy, he's going to go out there and play, and he knows what position the Denver Nuggets are in right now to possess that #1 seed in the Western Conference. So I think that statement alone right there, and then also the type of season that Jokic is having, I think that says a lot about him, because we all know that there's this silly narrative out there, and it's mainly online, and I can never tell if people are joking, but if they are serious or not. But they try to make this case that Jokic does not love the game of basketball, that he's literally just out here to do it as a quote-unquote job. And excuse my language here, but I just think that's absolutely ludicrous to say that Jokic doesn't love the game of basketball. And we take a look at this basketball resume right here. We're talking about a 2-time league MVP. We're talking about a man that has revolutionized the game of basketball. We've never seen a center play the point guard position, and 100% of the time that he's on the court, the playmaking duties are being ran through him. And then also he's an NBA champion, a Finals MVP, and then after winning the championship last season, a lot of people said that his motor was going to go down because, once again, this silly narrative, they try to make it seem like Jokic does not love the game of basketball. But it's very obvious. It's very obvious. You don't get this good at something this talented and make this type of history, and you're just out there doing it just to do it. So I wanted to say that about Jokic. Real basketball fans, real basketball lovers, they know how much he loves the game, because you know how much commitment, how much hard work, how much discipline, things like that to get to the type of level that Jokic is on. Like, Jokic is he's an all-time great. He's gonna go down as one of the top 10 best players in NBA history. So I just had to get that off my chest about Jokic really quickly. But I do think he is the biggest reason why, out of those 3 teams that we talked about, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Denver Nuggets, I think Nikola Jokic is going to be the difference between those teams coming down with that #1 seed. Because right now, Jokic is the best player on the planet. We look at his skill set. He's a generational talent, can literally do everything on the offensive side of the ball. He has an elite post game. He has elite footwork. He has elite patience. He has the ability to finish with brute force, where he can use a soft touch. And then we look at his playmaking abilities, which is so crazy. His ability to make passes, to make flashy passes, and then also his ability to make reads and process the game. You put all of those things together, and you have a 7-footer averaging 9 assists per game. Jokic is averaging 9 assists per game on the season. Since the All-Star break, he's damn near been an automatic triple-double. And then we look at his other numbers on the season. He's averaging 26 points per game. But we all know when the Denver Nuggets need him to, Jokic can go out and get 35, 40 points. And he's also averaging 12 rebounds per game. And he's doing it ultra efficiently. 57% from the field, 34% from the 3-point line, and then 82% from the free throw line. So I give a lot of props to Jokic, and I know the Denver Nuggets are a really good team, and they have the perfect team around Jokic. But we all know he is the engine, and without the engine in the car, it just simply doesn't work. And we see it in the numbers when Jokic is on the court and when Jokic is off the court for the Denver Nuggets, it's completely different. But nonetheless, since we already used the car analogy, we can stick to that. We look at some of the other pieces. We look at the other parts to the car that make the Denver Nuggets the quote-unquote best car in the NBA, and I believe that nobody has taken that throne from them right now. And I know the Boston Celtics, they have the best record in all of the NBA, but the Denver Nuggets, they're the reigning defending champs, and then also they took both head-to-head meetings against the Boston Celtics this year. So I think it's only fair that we still consider them the best team in the NBA as of right now. But we look at these other parts around Jokic. I think the Denver Nuggets, they have a perfect starting five. I think them and the Boston Celtics are the two teams with the perfect starting five surrounding their best players. And we look at Jokic and what the Denver Nuggets and their front office have been able to put around him. I think it's been a mastermind of a job that they have done. We look at Aaron Gordon, who has been so beneficial playing with the Denver Nuggets, being in that dunker spot, getting some of the easiest buckets in his basketball career. He pairs so well with Jokic, and then they also get along really well with each other off of the court. I know after his first year in Denver, Aaron Gordon said he spent a lot of time with Jokic in the offseason so he could build that chemistry out on the basketball court, and then that's so evident with the Denver Nuggets, the chemistry between Aaron Gordon and Jokic. Jokic always knows where Aaron Gordon is on the basketball court, and he always knows when he's open. And then we look at another player, Michael Porter Jr., who's been so consistent since the All-Star break. And I think a lot of people forget what type of talent Michael Porter Jr. was. He was the number 1 prospect in the country when he was in high school, really good in college, and he had a very unfortunate back injury that took away from a lot of the athleticism part of his game. But it seems like he's regaining a little bit of that, but he's just been more versatile for the Denver Nuggets, still shooting the 3 ball at a very high clip. He can control a game, or I should say he could take over a game with his ability to rebound. He is 6'10". So those 3 guys right there, Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon, they cause a lot of problems because they're all 6'9" and up, 6'10" and up. These are some really good guys, and they have one of the bigger front courts in the NBA. And it's one of the reasons why they have a top 10 defense in the NBA right now, because they have a lot of length in their front court. And then we take a look at this backcourt for the Denver Nuggets. We have Caldwell-Pope at the 2 spot, who just also fits like a glove. Before coming to the Denver Nuggets, he was a champion with the Los Angeles Lakers. He comes to Denver and he helps them win a championship as well. And he's just a 3-and-D guard. He knocks down that 3-point shot at a very high clip. He can hit it off the catch, off the dribble. He can also take one dribble, or he can pump fake one dribble, get to that mid-range spot. He's money from that area as well. And then also he's really good on the defensive side of the ball. He's going to take on that responsibility of guarding the opposing team's best perimeter scorer or their best playmaker. So KCP, he fits like a glove with the Denver Nuggets. And then at the point guard position, you have Jamal Murray. Now, Jamal Murray, I think about this all the time. It's so hard to rank him amongst the best point guards in the NBA because he doesn't really, or at least recently, he hasn't been playing too much in the regular season. So I think he's an all-star caliber point guard, but I always wonder, is Jamal Murray, is he ever going to have a season where he's out there consistently enough that he can get onto the all-star team? So I just think about that with Jamal Murray all the time. But when it comes to his talent, he is one of the best point guards in the NBA. And then also he's a big time playoff performer. We go back to the bubble, some of the games that he had, and then most recently last year's playoffs, he took his game to a whole different level. And I think that's how we can measure NBA players and who's better than who. When we look at a guy, when they go into the playoffs, do they numbers stay the same? Does it dip or does it rise? And Jamal Murray and Jokic, they're 2 players that when they get into the playoffs, they just take their games to a whole new level. But But Jamal Murray, he's truly a magician. Amazing handle on the basketball. He can get hot, and when he's hot, he can knock down that three-point shot from anywhere. He's shooting it off the catch, off the dribble. He has the mid-range game, and then also he's a very underrated finisher around the rim. He's supremely athletic, very acrobatic, and if you're not careful, he can get up and he can punch it on you. So Jamal Murray, not only is he a special talent, but he's another player that just like Aaron Gordon, he has tremendous chemistry with Nikola Jokic. Down the stretch, the Denver Nuggets, they have one of the hardest offenses to stop simply because they have a two-man action that you can't stop between Jokic and Jamal Murray. And what's so filthy about it, it doesn't matter who's the ball handler and it doesn't matter who's the screen setter, but when you have that pick and roll between Jamal Murray and Jokic, their abilities to do everything with the basketball, it really opened things up for those other three guys that we talked about. Now you have Michael Porter Jr. getting wide open threes and easy cuts to the rim. You have Aaron Gordon getting easy lobs and easy dunks right at the rim. KCP getting open threes. So the Denver Nuggets, they seem like they want another championship. They definitely have the talent to do so. And I think they're the best team in the NBA right now. Everything works so complimentary for these guys. When you stop one thing, and then you stop one thing with the Denver Nuggets, they have a counter for it. So that's what I want to talk about with you guys today. It's going to be a tight race for that #1 seed. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and then comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.